Hello and welcome to our preview of the Melbourne Football Club and their chances in 2013. Joining me today is Rohan Connolly.
Scotty, good to be here.
Of course, they were the club which dominated the headlines during the off-season over the tanking investigation. Will that play any role this year, or is it just something which we move to the past?
Well, I think a lot of us are hoping it doesn't. It was certainly a bit of a soap opera there. But look, in practical terms, I don't think it will. I mean, it's certainly a new coaching group from then. And half a new playing group too. They've had a massive turnover of players again in the off-season. So, you're talking about 2009, 4 years ago now. I don't think it should have too big an impact.
Of course, you mentioned that huge turnover of players. They bring in players like Dawes and Burns and David Rohan, but coupled with that, they did lose a lot of experience too.
Yeah, they did. I mean, Brent Maloney's gone to Brisbane. That might have raised a few eyebrows. Brad Green's retired. There's a real changing of the guard there. But I like the ins. There's been mixed reviews about the wisdom of getting in so many players from other clubs. But I think Chris Dawes, premiership player, key forward, still young. He's still got the bulk of his career ahead of him. David Rohan, very experienced, and Shannon Burns, very experienced. It's hard to overstate the difference those experienced guys will make, not only on game day, but just in influence and experience around the training track and around the club in general. And Melbourne's been so chronically short of that leadership. I think on that score alone, they're really good pickups.
Was it a case of pragmatic recruiting by Neil? He obviously seemed to get players he liked, but if you look back to their first half of the year last year, they were terrible, and they lost games in a big way. So how would you view those sort of moves?
Oh, look, I think they make sense in a strategic sense as well. Dawes, they've lacked key position forwards. Mitch Clark was a good pickup and, missed half a season, so his return can't come soon enough. But I think, you get Mitch Clark there, you get Dawes up there, and then you got the spring-heeled Jeremy Howe. You're starting to look at potential decent tallies being kicked, I think. And then, Rohan and Byrne just give him a bit of zip and a bit of, in Roden's case, a bit of goal kicking nous as well.
Some of the key players, I think we mention his name every year, Jack Watts. He was recruited as a forward but started to play some footy in defence. What sort of year does it present for him?
Oh, look, I was a bit dubious initially about Watts going back, but, every time I see him play, he just looks a little bit better than the time before in defence, and I reckon Watts looks pretty good in the back line, and I think he might stay there.
So having settled that and looking at what happened for the club last year, what will they manage this year? Are finals out of contention?
Oh, look, I think so, but, that's not any disrespect to them. It's a really unusual year in that there are so many decent teams, and, I think there's probably maybe 14 legitimate finals chances. And, they won 4 games last year. I can see them improving that tally substantially to, 7, 8 maybe, but I couldn't see them making the 8. But, given how bereft they looked at times last year, I think that'd be a pretty reasonable result. And, vindication to an extent, I think, of Mark Neild and his determination to sort of create a new culture, a new, more reliable playing style and really build for, 3, 4, 5 years down the track.
I'm with you, Rohan. I think 8 wins is about spot on the mark, but the year certainly represents a chance for Melbourne to move on after the tanking investigation. Thanks, Rohan Connolly.
Cheers, Scotty.